What's up guys, welcome back to Destiny Updates. We've got some very exciting things to go over here. You can see we're on Bungie.net and they have a new listing titled Welcome to the Frontier, Explore Your Destiny. And if we click that, it takes us here, which is a brand new Destiny section of the Bungie.net site, and it's loaded with a whole bunch of new info. We're gonna highlight a whole bunch of the key things here, but I would also recommend checking it out yourself if you want all the info. You'll find a link for that in the description below. So if you look at the bottom here, there's a whole bunch of tabs. We have Story, Guardians, the Frontier, Our Enemies, and Multimedia. So let's start with Story. And this reads, Welcome to the Frontier. Our civilization once spanned the solar system. Its ruins are still out there, buried in the dunes of Mars, hidden in the jungles of Venus, and lost in a wild and abandoned Earth. For centuries, we've huddled under the safety of the Traveler, protected from our enemies. Now a new era has begun, and the only hope for our future lies in unlocking the greatest mysteries of our past. So that's an interesting preface to what the Destiny story is going to be. It sounds like it's going to have a strong focus on uncovering our past and what happened to humanity. Now onto the second segment of the story section, which is the Traveler. This is already stuff we already know. This is just a quote from the Vidoc, so I'm not going to read that off. Next up is the City, and it says, In our darkest days, humans, Exos, and Awoken found the Traveler where it made its last stand, low above the earth, silent and immobile. We built this city, our last, within its protective shields, fighting countless wars to keep its peace. From that dark age, the Guardians of the City were born. So I think that all sounds pretty awesome, and it also shows that humans, Exos, and Awoken all worked together to build this city, and it wasn't exclusively humans. Now onto the next section, we have Guardians. Now this here again we already knew from the Vidoc, so I'm not going to read that off, but this little image here on the right side seems quite interesting to me. It looks like it's in space, and that would mean it's a spaceship or space station of some type, and that's the feeling I get, but it also looks quite large, so I don't know what it is, but it definitely looks pretty cool. Anyways, onto the classes. The first one is Warlock. Warlocks have long studied the Traveler, mastering some of its arcane energies. Its true purpose still remains a great mystery, but discovering truth has always driven you into the unknown. Now our enemies are the only thing that stands between you and the lost wonders of our golden age. And that's of course accompanied by a pretty sweet looking render there of a customized Warlock, and he's also holding some sort of assault rifle that's heavily customized. His armor setup with his gun looks pretty damn awesome in my opinion. And to be honest, previously I wasn't a whole lot interested in the Warlock, but this looks pretty damn cool. I don't know, I might have to change my mind. We'll see. Anyways, next up is the Titan. And it reads, The first Titans built the wall, and gave their lives to defend it. Now you stand in the same high place, steadfast and sure, protecting all who shelter in your shadow. You hail from a long line of heroes, forged from strength and sacrifice. Our enemies may be deadly and merciless, but so are you. And once again, accompanied by a pretty cool looking render here. This looks like a female character model to me, holding some sort of weapon that kind of reminds me vaguely of a DMR for some reason. And there's also something here on the side of her right leg, and I'm not sure if that's some sort of pouch or like bag, or if that's a sidearm. I'm really not sure, I have no idea. Anyways, on to the final class. Of course we have the Hunter. Hunters once prowled the wilderness and wastelands, taking big risks for even bigger rewards. You're no outlaw, at least not anymore, but making your own luck has always meant bending the rules. Your unique brand of daring and ingenuity is needed now more than ever. Once again accompanied by an awesome looking render of a customized Hunter. Now just so you can see these three renders more clearly and really soak them in, I'll put them on screen now. And I have to say they're all looking pretty damn awesome. And just real quick, I think those 3 paragraphs I read, the one for each class, I think those are definitely like the official bio for each class, and chances are when you go and choose your class in-game, that's what you're going to end up reading. Anyways, back to the site. On to the next section, we have the Frontier. And first up here is Abandoned Earth. The wilderness beyond the walls of the city are ruined and corrupted, claimed by nature and our enemies. From the war-torn fortresses of the Twilight Gap, to the skyward steppes of old Russia, evidence of our lost glory still litters the earth, waiting to be rediscovered. And it's also accompanied by a new image, which looks to me like some Fallen who've made some sort of a makeshift base inside of some old planes. You can see on the right side, inside the fuselage there's some sort of light source, and it just looks like they've been set up there for a while. There's also one standing on top of the plane on the left. Now I imagine things like this will be fairly common when exploring the ruins of Earth, and I think that's definitely pretty cool. Now there is another image. This one isn't actually new. It was shown at the PlayStation 4 reveal, but it was poor quality and I don't think I ever showcased it here on the channel, so here it is. It looks to be a Guardian sneaking up to a building in the ruins of a city that's being reclaimed by nature. And then the third image was actually shown in the Vidoc, so we're not going to look at that. Anyways, onto the next location, we have the Moon. And it says, early exploration attempts have proven too dangerous. The city has since classified Earth's moon as a forbidden zone. Now when it says Forbidden Zone, I have to wonder if that means you can't actually go there right away. You might have to prove yourself or earn some sort of rank or title by doing missions and quests on Earth before you get permission to go there. Now again, that's just my speculation, but it does seem logical. Now onto the next two locations, we have Mars, and it says awaiting reports from the Vanguard. And Venus actually says the same thing, as you can see here, awaiting reports from the Vanguard. Now there's the Vanguard thing once again. I definitely think the Vanguard is some sort of title you earn or a group you get accepted into once you get enough experience or you complete certain quests or something like that. And that could actually tie into what I said before with the moon, how it's a forbidden zone. Perhaps only Vanguards are allowed to go there and you have to become a Vanguard first. But again, I really don't know, that's just my speculation. Now onto the final section, we have our enemies. And it says, beyond the safety of our walls, strange and deadly enemies now occupy our old worlds. Every day they grow bolder, probing the traveler's shields for weaknesses, looking to stamp us out for good. Now once again, there's a reference to the traveler's shields. I previously thought it was only the wall that protected the city, but I suppose it makes sense that the traveler projects some sort of protective field of its own. Now for the enemies, they only mentioned the Fallen and Cabal at first, although I'm sure more will be revealed with time. But let's start with the Fallen. And it says, the Fallen are a scourge, tirelessly engaged in war against us, and scavenging all that remains. They say their houses have claimed every planet and moon we've ever touched. If you see one in the wild, know that there may be more nearby, and don't hesitate to send their souls screaming into the black. Now going on, they actually reveal 3 classes of the Fallen, we can see these here. Starting off with the Fallen Dreg, and it says, these relentless thieves seem driven by desperation and rage. They're crafty, but they usually give up their cover with their clattering and hissing. Most seem outfitted with some kind of shock dagger and pistol, and as far as we can gather, they seem to only have 2 arms, while other Fallen have 4. Now onto the next one, we have the Vandal, and it says, the truths about the Fallen chain of command are still making themselves known, but Vandals appear to hold a higher ranking than the Dregs, and deadlier weapons too. They often have long-range capability, but lucky for us, their weapons take time to charge. And you can see here he's holding one of the weapons they're talking about. It definitely looks pretty cool. I hope we can use them ourselves. Now onto the final class, which is the Fallen Captain. It says, Fallen run in packs, led by an individual captain. There is no denying a captain's might. They are the fiercest of the Fallen. There is this sense of tattered nobility to them. You can see it in the way they carry themselves. They think they're better than us. They believe that Earth belongs to them. And you can see here in this in-game render, he's holding his dual swords and looking pretty damn intimidating. Anyways, onto the Cabal. It's been years since they first made their presence known at the Twilight Gap. While early reports have them centered on or around Mars, the true might of the Cabal is still wrapped in speculation, awaiting more reports from the Vanguard. So again, they mentioned the Twilight Gap, which appears to be a location on Earth from what they said in the Frontier section of this site. So anyways, that's pretty much everything they revealed here on the site. If you look at Multimedia, most of this is stuff we've already seen. Under the images, there's 33 wallpapers, but we've already seen all of those. And then there's the 6 renders of the Guardians and the Fallen, which we already saw throughout the site. I'll show all of those on screen here before we finish. And then of course just logos, which isn't all that interesting. And then under videos, it's just 3 videos that we've already seen, nothing new there. Now while I'm doing this video, I'm going to cover one more super cool thing real quick, but stay tuned till the end of the video for sort of a montage of these new renders in high detail. Now onto this next thing, which is just awesome. In the latest issue of Game Informer magazine, they had a few new images of Destiny. One of them is actually an in-game screenshot you can see here of the last city, and it just looks incredible. It looks like it's either at sunset or sunrise, but from the lighting, I'm gonna say it's sunset, and it really just looks amazing. The lighting just looks absolutely beautiful, and it also shows the immense scale of the city and the Traveler. I honestly didn't realize the city was gonna be this big. I mean, it looks huge. You can see it going way off into the distance there, and it also looks like it's separated into different districts or whatever you want to call them. You can see what looks like bands of circular walls, getting smaller and smaller as they get closer to the Traveler. And you can see off in the distance right below the Traveler, it looks like it must be the final district. It's quite a small district. The buildings look much taller, like they almost reach up to touch the bottom of the Traveler. And I imagine that must be intentional for some reason. And also I'm sure that has to be where the tower is located, which is basically home for the Guardians, for us. Now I could just stare at this thing for ages, it just looks amazing. I love how there seems to be a river going through the city that branches off into the different districts, and the way the lighting is reflecting off the water and also the lighting in the city. The whole thing just looks beautiful and I really want to explore it, and I absolutely can't wait to go there in-game. Now aside from that absolutely awesome in-game screenshot, there was also 2 other pieces of concept art that were shown in the Game Informer issue. The first one is another look at the fallen spider tank, this time from the opposite side. It looks about the same, but now we're seeing it out of the snow environment it was in before. Once again, it has the machine gun on the back, and you know, about the same thing, but it definitely looks pretty cool. And then the next one is this really odd structure built in the rocks, and I'm not sure if it's actually built out of stone or if it's metal. It looks like it might be metal to me. It looks really interesting. I would love to know what race built this, where it is, what its purpose is. But honestly, I can't really gather anything from this image. It's quite confusing. I'm not sure what to make of it. Now that's it for the 3 new images. Once again, they came from the latest issue of Game Informer magazine. Now I'm sure the magazine also has an article on Destiny, but I don't have a copy of it myself. I doubt there's anything really new and exciting in there, but I'll find out, and if there is, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Anyways, that's it for this update. I hope you enjoyed. There's a lot of awesome stuff in this one. I'm definitely getting more and more excited as more information is revealed. Please consider leaving a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help me out a lot. It gets the news out there more, it spreads the channel more, and I would really appreciate it. And I have been putting a hell of a lot of work into the channel lately with all these new videos coming out all the time. So, it'd be kind of awesome if you guys could help me out by leaving a like. Also, it definitely helps motivate me because it shows that you guys actually care about what I'm doing and want to see more. So anyways, thanks again for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope you're getting as excited as I am for Destiny. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the latest Destiny news, and I'll see you in the next update.